Let's agree on one thing. Leaders are nothing without their teams. Yes, the teams are that important. Having said that, what do I do to motivate and inspire my teams? After all, my success depends on them. Welcome to Digital Decision Makers, where we talk IT from a leadership perspective. My name is James Grover, and let's talk about this. So, it's no secret that engineers and developers are the life's blood of IT. They're the ones getting their hands dirty. And as a leader, my teams are very important to me. If they don't succeed, then I don't succeed. So for me, it's imperative to create an environment where my teams can thrive. It's my responsibility to provide my teams with the best opportunities for success. There's no simple magic solution for this, and being able to figure this out is one of the most important skills for any leader. Before we can talk about motivating and inspiring your team, you must have an environment that's conducive for success. So, right off the bat, let's talk about the tried and true methods for an effective environment. And this isn't specific to IT. It applies across the board. Treat everyone with respect. Attack problems, not people. Use outages as teaching moments, not finger-pointing sessions, because in order to innovate, you can't be scared to make mistakes. But at the same time, you need to implement certain guardrails because you can't operate like it's the Wild West. Again, these are the basics, the standards that everyone should embrace, but you'd be surprised. These basic, normal, everyday types of things are the ones that get overlooked. And oftentimes, the reason they get overlooked is because leadership forgets that the rules apply to them too. As a leader, how can you say, attack the problem, not the person, if you berate somebody in the middle of a call? Actions speak louder than words, right? Just by implementing these basic things and adhering to these things as a leader, you can drastically change the trajectory and motivation within your teams. For me specifically, I like to think of myself as an innovative leader, but what I'm learning is I'm not really innovating at all. Sure, I may do some things differently. Maybe I have a larger appetite to try things. So, in my mind, that makes me an innovative leader. But the truth is, every leader should be doing these things. They should be doing whatever it takes to motivate their team. This is at the core of what being a good leader is. But unfortunately, and I hate to say this, we've all experienced poor leadership. And we all know the impact that poor leadership can have. I believe the best way to lead people is through respect. You can't bark orders or point at the title on your name tag. Maybe that works from time to time because people need their jobs, but do you think that really builds respect? Is that going to incentivize someone to go the extra mile for you? I don't think so. Think about it. Why do you listen to the people that you listen to? It's because you respect them. What did they do to earn your respect? What do they do to keep your respect? It's no different in the workplace. People get so caught up in the fast-paced, technology-rich, social media environment that they forget old school values. Remember the saying? Treat people the way that you would like to be treated. You'd be amazed at how well that works. So what do I do to gain the respect and keep the respect of my teams? Well, integrity. That's a big one. You must have the strength and the conviction to make decisions. Sometimes you're going to be in a tough spot. There's going to be times where you don't have all the information, yet your teams are going to be looking to you for answers. And trust me, you don't gain a lot of confidence by saying, I'm not sure, let me get back to you. Sometimes people are simply looking for clarity. You must have the strength to say what you mean and the conviction to mean what you say. Now, that doesn't mean go around like an ogre. Instead, that means passing the credit to your teams when the decision goes well and taking the heat when the decisions go bad. If you go the extra mile for your team, they'll go the extra mile for you. And if you push that forward a little bit, what's that really mean? It means that there's a level of trust. You can trust that someone's going to do their best for you, and they can trust that you're going to do your best for them. It's all simple stuff, and I'm sure you're thinking, duh, we know this. But what you may not realize is how much poison you keep out of your teams by having this level of trust. Have you ever worked for someone that you didn't like or didn't have that level of trust with? How'd that work out? My job depends on what my teams do. I'm the one who takes the heat. If I'm in a position where I don't trust a person or their work ethic, how do you think that affects me? Do you think I really want to go behind them and check everything they do all day long? How long before that person complains that I'm a micromanager? No one needs this kind of headache, and the truth is, this type of situation can be avoided. Realistically, it should never happen. But if you've done everything right and you're still in this position, as a leader, you must have the strength to cut people loose. The fastest way to lose the respect and control of your team is by not doing the things that need to be done. Once you lose the respect of your team, I'm not so sure you'll get it back. And I know what you're thinking. Wasn't this supposed to be about inspiring and motivating? So far it's been about management style, trust, and respect. The reason for that is because I believe those traditional aspects of motivation and inspiration, the kinds of things you think of when you see a motivational speaker, well, those things are like the icing on the cake. Before you can truly inspire and motivate people, you need to become the kind of leader that people want to work with and work for. You got to make the cake before you can put the icing on it, right? I've been fortunate enough to cultivate this type of environment. I really feel like I have the best of the best working for me. That puts me and my teams in sort of an unorthodox position. It's not so much that I motivate them. It's more like we motivate each other. A lot of times, someone may come up with a suggestion, and then it's off to the races. The more you win, the more you want to win. It becomes addictive, and that's really become the mantra for the team. How can we deliver? How can we do it faster? How can we do it simpler? How can we do it more effectively? And then to spice it up, how can we add technology to help us do these things? Can technology make us operate more efficiently? Will this tech remove our administrative burden? At the end of the day, we're all technologists. If we can create an environment where our teams can leverage technology to make a difference, well, that's a win-win situation. No one, especially tech people, want to do mundane, menial tasks over and over. They want to solve problems. So let's solve problems. I know this is at a high level, but now that you know how my mind works, what do I do specifically to motivate and inspire? I really do my best to lead by example. I really do try to work harder than everyone else around me. I try to get in earlier and leave after everyone else. I won't ever ask someone to do something that I wouldn't do myself. It also means that I'm not above any job. Sometimes that means I got to put my hands on the keyboard too. Sometimes I got to get my hands dirty. And guess what? Peer pressure really does work. Have you ever had a bad day? A day where you just didn't want to be there? And then you look over and see your boss grinding or your boss's boss grinding? Well, if they can do it, then so can you, right? Something else that I've learned is that you can't skimp on training, conferences, and things like that. Who wants to work for someone that constantly says, "Oh, we don't have the budget for that"? How demotivating is that? Spend some money. And I don't mean buying mansions and yachts, but make sure that there's money available to take care of your teams. And these days, with the remote nature of things, let your people attend virtual conferences. And when they attend, make sure they aren't interrupted. Cover for them. Let them get the information from the conference. IT is constantly evolving, and sometimes we get burnt out. Attending a conference from time to time, maybe even just once a year, could be enough to keep that fire ignited. With that fire burning, listen to your teams. Listen to what they like. Pay attention to their tendencies. Give them tasks that will take advantage of those characteristics. And then move out of the way. Look at the sidelines at the end of a football game. How much motivating and inspiring do you see for the winning team? Most of this stuff can be applied across the board, across industries. But if we're going to talk specifically IT, well, to put it lightly, that means I need to know everything about everything. I don't want to be one of those leaders that simply delegates everything out because they don't have any answers. But don't forget, I don't have a ton of keyboard time. So that means I've got to constantly read and keep up. I have to know the technology in order to put together a vision that my teams can buy into. I have to have a pulse of the industry, of the technology, while being able to apply it to our specific needs. In applying that logic to my teams, I like to ensure that they have the time to work on the new stuff. Let them work on the new technology. Let them work on the initiatives that they come up with. At the end of the day, it's easy to lead a good team. So for me, I do everything I can to create and maintain rockstar teams. If you spend the time, and I mean really spend the time, creating and maintaining rockstar teams, you'll find that you won't need to spend a lot of time motivating and inspiring. That's going to do it for this one. Let me know in the comments below what other topics you'd like me to cover. Don't forget to click the bell to get notified whenever I drop my next video. You never know, we may be covering your topic next on Digital Decision Makers.